Hello and welcome to Garden to Table with Kimberly. I'm Kimberly. If you've been following along, you know I started this garden by planting collards down the center of my raised beds and garlic along the front and the back edges. Well, those were the first plants that went into the soil, and they were planted intentionally. I wanted strong anchor plants that would stay in place for a long time and give this garden structure from the very beginning. In my last video, I shared my garden story from last year. I talked about what worked, what did not work, what I learned from gardening in later in life in the South. That season taught me a lot, especially about timing, spacing, and how overwhelming a garden can feel when you don't have a clear plan for what comes next. So today's video is that next step. This is where I take what's already planted and start filling in each and every single inch using what's called a polyculture approach that actually makes sense for real life. Not a picture perfect garden, but a garden that works and grows food efficiently, stays flexible, and changes as the seasons move along. Last year, I didn't garden this way at all. I planted everything all at once, stood back, and hoped for the best. By the middle of the season, I had bare soil areas everywhere. They were overcrowded and no real plan to how to fix without pulling up plants. I felt overwhelmed often, then I felt more confident. This year, I'm doing things differently. I'm slowing down. I'm building the garden in layers, not trying to finish everything at once. And I'm making decisions on what plants grow in the best time and not to look at how things have been planted. A lot of garden videos show the perfect pictures from the start. Every square inch is filled. Every plant is in the ground on the same day. Everything looks finished, but that's not how most of us garden, especially when we're learning as we go, gardening later in life. Most of us plant something, step back, and think, okay, what can I plant now? This video is about what comes after your anchor plants are in. It's about how to keep planting without overcrowding, how to work with what's already growing, and how to make the most of the space you already have without adding stress. Efficiency matters, especially when you don't want to start over every season or you feel like you're constantly behind. I want a garden that grows with me, not one that requires me to reset every few weeks. When people hear the word polyculture, they sometimes imagine chaos. Plants everywhere, no spacing, no order, and no plan. That's not what I'm doing here. This isn't about cramming more plants into a bed. It's not about random planting, and it's definitely not about guessing. Polyculture, the way I'm using it, means growing plants together that serve different purposes and mature at different times. It's about understanding growth habits, harvest timing, and how plants can share space without competing. Structure actually matters more in a polyculture garden than less. All four of my raised beds are set up using the same basic structure, but they are not planted the same way. This is a polyculture garden where every plant has a purpose. Some plants are here to feed us, some support pollinators, some help with pest pressure, others improve soil health. All of them are growing together in a way that supports the system as a whole. Each bed follows the same layout, collards down the center and garlic around the front and back edges. That structure stays the same in every bed. What changes is what fills in around the plants, depending on the season, the weather, and what I have available, and even what we actually eat in our household. I like to think of these beds in lanes instead of squares. There's a front lane, a center lane, and a back lane. Once I started thinking this way, Planning became much easier. I wasn't guessing anymore. I wasn't trying to fit plants wherever there was a small opening. I was placing plants where they naturally fit based on how they grow. That shift alone changed how confident I felt in the garden. The collards are my long-term anchor plants, and they stay exactly where they are. They're not moving, and I plan around them. I give each collard the space it needs, a little breathing room at the base so it can grow strong and healthy without competition at the stem. Just outside that space, I'm direct sowing fast crops like lettuce and spinach. These crops or plants grow quickly and they're harvested early. They'll be gone long before the collards need the space, which means they're using the soil that would have otherwise been sitting bare. That keeps the soil covered, helps suppress weeds, and keeps the bed productive instead of empty while the collards are still growing. It's a temporary layer that supports the long-term plants without getting in their way. In the front lane of each bed, between the collards and the garlic, I'm planting root crops. This is where I'm using the beets and purple top turnips. Root crops grow down in the soil. Collards grow above the soil. They're using different jobs, but in the same space, which means they don't compete with each other. By the time the root crops need the room for size, I've already harvested most of the greens. That timing is what makes this system work. Not everything in the bed is meant to mature at the same time. Some plants are here for weeks, others are here for months. Once you start planning around harvest timing instead of just spacing, the garden opens up in a completely different way. Along the back lane of each bed, I'm adding vertical crops. This is where I'm going to plant my sugar snap peas on a trellis. Anytime I can grow food up instead of out, I do it. Vertical growing is one of the easiest ways to increase yield without needing more space. Peas grow upward so they don't shade the lower plants too heavily, and they're done early enough in the season to make room for something else later on. That makes them a perfect fit for this part of the bed. This year, I'm also doing something that I skipped last year. That was adding flowers directly into my garden beds. Instead of planting flowers off to the side or in a separate area, I'm weaving them into the system. Along the front edge between the garlic, I'm planting candela. Along the back edge, I'm planting sweet alyssum. And along the corners of the beds, I'm planting nasturtiums. These flowers attract pollinators, and beneficial insects help with pest pressure and support the overall health of the garden. I used to think flowers were optional, something you added only if you had extra space. Now I see them as part of the system, not decoration. They're working just as hard as the vegetables, and they make the beds look finished and intentional. Every plant in these beds has a purpose. Tall plants go where they don't block the light. Medium plants hold space long term. Fast plants fill gaps temporarily. Root crops stay out of the way. Flowers support everything else. This isn't about planting more. It's about planting smarter. That's how one raised bed can function like several. As I harvest turnips and baby greens, I'll replant lettuce in those same spots. When the garlic comes out later in the season, I'll plant carrots and more beets the very same day. Nothing sits empty. The garden is designed to change week by week, not all at once. I'll be sharing those changes as they happen so you can see how the garden evolves over time instead of just seeing the finished result. This is what gardening looks like for me now, learning, adjusting, and building on what's already there. If you're gardening later in life, in the South and you want a system that makes sense starting over every season, this approach can really help. If this video was helpful, go ahead and like it and subscribe so you can follow along as this garden grows. I'm sharing what actually works for me in real time. Thanks for spending time with me today, and I'll see you next time on Garden to Table with Kimberly.